It's Brian, and I'm here. I'm here to do Street Fight tonight. Calling in. You know, people are going to call in. I need calls. I have one call in the queue, so it fits 4 more. So if you've ever wanted to get in, get in. Last night I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and clean my mic. It's fucking gross. It's so... You want me to gross you motherfuckers out? I'm going to tell you something right now. When I was smoking... Look at this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Just look into your... Is that not the grossest fucking shit you have ever seen in your life? Like, I was trying to clean it with a fucking toothbrush and alcohol. Shit won't come off. It is so nasty. I ordered new gimmicks for the mic, but that's the grossest. It's from when I smoked, I think. It's like, you go run outside, you smoke a cigarette, you run back in and you talk into the microphone. So, yeah, very gross. It has been, what is an, Psychic Gasoline says I need an ultrasonic cleaner. I'm just going to buy a new thing. They're $8. You can buy a fucking new, whatever this thing is on the end of the mic for $8. And I bought 2. I don't smoke anymore. And so I don't think it's going to cause much of a problem. Like, I probably won't happen anymore. What's up, Max Overthruster? How are you? Forever Since Breakfast says he still loves me. Grayson says the pop filter for the mic. No, it's not a pop. I hate those fucking pop filters. And I know, I'm a professional. I should do it. But I really like the way the mic looks. I love an SM58, baby. And, yeah, it's an incredibly gross microphone. I couldn't fucking believe it. Psychic Gasoline saying, feeling extremely pro-worker tonight. New boss is turning out to be an absolute spineless company shill who actually thinks we get paid too much on holidays. And I know you're in, I know you are in, what's it called? Retail. So that fucking sucks. When I worked at jewelry, we called that shit that came out of rings and necklaces cheese. That's what it looks like. I mean, for the people that can't see it because they're watching the show or they're listening to the show as a podcast, it's foul. It's fucking nasty. Looter Jennings says, hey, Bri, have you guys solidified plans for a PODcast meetup at Sick New World? I am going to be at Sick New World. I have VIP tickets, and I will get my ass. I will be there, and I will hang out. I will be in Las Vegas to see Korn and every new metal band that's not Limp Bizkit. So, but yeah, what I tried to do is, so anyway, I wake up today or yesterday. I'm out on my walk, and it's Ohio State Michigan Day, and it can be extremely what's the thing? It can be crazy here. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to walk on Ohio State campus. Home game, apparently very important game. And I was like, I don't watch football. I said this on Twitter today. On Thanksgiving, my dad goes, hey, Brian, how do you think your Michigan Wolverines are going to do? Because I wore a Michigan Wolverines starter jacket for the entire 10th and 11th grade year, because it made people fucking crazy. So I would wear it because I, was Brian. I've always been Brian, baby. I've always been that kind of dude. So there's call. Damn. So something happened here. I didn't see how many calls we had. So we're going to have to start taking calls in just a second. But I want to just tell this story. I was like, I'm going to walk this and it's going to be 58 degrees. I'm going to take this nice walk, you know? So I take this walk and I'm talking 20 miles, 16. It was 16. I don't like to exaggerate on mileage. So anyway, I go 16 miles and I'm probably mile 13, I would say. By the way, no chaos for the Ohio State Michigan game because Ohio State lost. Like, just, it doesn't, people think it leads to riots, but it actually leads to apathy and everybody getting depressed and the game ruining everybody's day and party. So it just, as I was walking, I was like, man, everybody looks fucking sad. This doesn't seem fun. So I have to explain to people, like my dad, I was like, I only watch fake sports, dude. So, I mean, honestly, Ohio State would win if we were watching fake sports, and they would win in dramatic fashion. So my foot starts hurting. Now, I don't think I can explain how it feels, but I think when you do that pain scale, motherfuckers do. I did not watch Survivor Series, Luther Jennings. I can't sit down and watch that company. And also, my wife would have killed me if I'd have said, hey, we're watching a 4-hour pay-per-view tonight after I watched 4-hour pay-per-view last week or the week before. But anyway, my foot is just killing me. And I think it's a fracture. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I know that when I broke my wrist, it hurt like heavy bad, really bad. So I get up today and I'm like, tell my wife, I'm like, I gotta take it easy today, man. I think my foot's fucked up. And it's not the diabetes thing that I thought it was. It's not the sciatica. It's like real pain in my foot. So she's like, well, why don't you take it easy? So I do take it easy. I fucking sit up here and work. I came up in this room right now that I'm sitting in, and I fucking worked today at getting some stuff together this week on the Patreon. We're going to make sure that Gutshot gets a video. We're going to post Gutshot as a video. I'm recording a special Christmas show with the Blocked Party guys, where we're going to watch a video. We'll post the whole video. So I'm like, I'm going to take it easy. And she's like, okay. She goes to the grocery store. I fucking run out the door, walk 6 miles, which is taking it easy for me. But boy, did it hurt. And now I'm in like all kinds of pain. But I'm just going to take it easy tomorrow, I think. I've convinced myself now, the new thing with me, though, is that like I convinced myself that I will not sleep if I don't walk. And that's the fucking problem right there. I won't burn enough energy if I don't take a ridiculously long walk in order for me to fall asleep at night. So when I'm laying in bed at night and I just watch 6 miles like I did today, if I don't fall asleep, I'm going to be laying in bed at fucking 2:30 in the morning going like this. Should have fucking walked longer, man. Should have done 20 miles, baby. That was a fool's errand. That was a huge mistake. So, I don't know. I know I don't give you guys the peek into my stupid, dumb brain as much anymore because we're busy. We're talking about, how to be a patriot, how to be no, it's not Trump mindset, though, right? Exercise does help you sleep. That's the thing, Zach H. That's what I'm saying. And like, that's what I think is the new thing. I think I've convinced myself that I will not, I have to move all day or I won't fall asleep. And I don't know I guess I could lift weights or something like that. But, So, and I'm not going to J-O Max Overthruster. Max Overthruster says, instead of walking, try marathon J-O sessions. I got a kid in this house. Well, she's 18. But, I will never be less of a goofball, Hank, in the chat. Let's take some fucking calls. I'm ready to answer some fucking calls. I just wanted to talk to you all today. And yes, thank you, Psychic Gasoline. He says, oh, yeah, we put together the clues. Look. I'm getting normaler as the days go. I've been talking to my buddy Karen Geyer, who she co-hosted with me recently, and she is doing the ketamine treatments and letting me know that it has extremely helped her. So I'm really happy for her too, and anybody who does it and gets their life sort of squared away. I mean, honestly, you'll still think you'll still be crazy like me. But you won't have panic attacks, so I guess that's fine. Let's take a call here. Well, hello there. Who am I talking to tonight?
Hey, you're talking to Hank in Los Angeles.
Well, Hank, I need you to talk for a second because I got to get my kratom in me. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I can cover while you go get your kratom. I'm just thinking about your foot and
I'm right
and
here,
realizing
buddy.
that you're in a pretty. Oh,
I'm right here.
I
got it right here at the table with me. I just needed to drink it.
Oh, I see. I thought you had to get up and walk around. I was going to go on a whole spiel about loving yourself.
I ain't fucking walking. I ain't walking nowhere right now for the rest of the night. I'm in pain.
Yeah. If it gets worse overnight, it's definitely not a good sign. Sometimes it's a sprain and you might feel a little bit better the next day or whatever, but yeah, unfortunately Americans have to be very hope it goes away first. That's always the first thing we do with healthcare. We can't do any kind of prevention or any kind of like just be careful, because you might end up in thousands of dollars of debt just for having some asshole look at your foot. Sorry for calling the doctors assholes. They're not.
I think maybe I should ask you and the people in the chat. I just forgot what I was going to ask. That was fucking crazy. I was just so in my head about all the other stuff.
Hope it goes away.
Hope it goes away. Oh, yeah. And I feel almost like a drug guy in a way, because the reason I've decided, like, even if I go to the doctor, I have insurance, so I could 100% go to the doctor, and I have a flexible spending account, or whatever, health savings account, so it wouldn't come out of my bank account or anything like that. So I could go to the doctor. It's not a money thing. It's not an insurance thing. It is just like, I mean, when you're in pain in 2022, I mean, they don't really do anything about it. You know, they tell you to fucking walk it off. The DEA has doctors terrified of prescribing things that make the pain go away. So it's just kind of like, you go in there and they're like, have you tried stretching your foot? And it's like, yeah, I fucking tried stretching it by walking 20 miles and it didn't work. It still hurts like fuck. But that's kind of the thing, like with me, is like, I've seen my friends and my wife and even people online who have, like, messaged me in the past and been like, you get hurt and then you go to the doctor and they're like, here's 4 Vicodin. Take 1/4 of one every 12 hours. And it's like, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? Like, I can do that. I can fucking do that. I can take fucking ibuprofen.
Doing that anyway.
Yeah. So, but I guess, like, I don't think anything's swollen. Hootie Owl says, first of all, Psychic Gasoline said Brian was told to walk it off by a doctor as a kid and took it literally, which I have been walking it off for years. I've never told why I walk. I haven't told it in years. The reason I walk every day, my wife came home from work one time. I think it's demons now. My wife came home from work one time 10 years ago, I think. It was after I quit the cable company and everything. I was already a stay-at-home dad, all that shit. And she was like, and my daughter was going to school, and my daughter was in school. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I have all day, before I have to go pick her up in elementary school. My wife goes, hey, they're doing this thing at my work where if you walk 10,000 steps a day, it's like a contest, We got to get 10,000 steps a day. As soon as she told me that, I was like, I'll bet you I can get fucking 20,000 steps a day. I'll bet you I could get 30,000 steps a day. And now I'm at the point where I'm kind of routinely getting 45,000 steps a day.
Yeah, you've banked up some. Like a day or two off won't. I mean, I understand how your routine might get messed up because you've told yourself that you have to walk to go to sleep. But just jerk off a couple times extra. Just wear yourself out with your shoulders. You don't need to do especially tomorrow if it's worse. Don't keep challenging it like you seem to be. Because like what you're saying too is they'll just give you some pain drugs. And also for a lot of foot things, it's just like, well, don't use it for a while. Just go easy on it. But if it's a fracture or some sort of something that's worse, it's good to rule that out. And meanwhile, maybe wrap it up, though. I was going to say maybe you got some ace bandages. Do the whole thing. Get your wife, have her put her knee up, put your foot on her knee, and she can wrap it up like you're about to go to a boxing fight.
She did, but it didn't feel like it did much of anything. But then when I unwrapped it, it did hurt a little more. So maybe the wrap did help. Now I'm wearing one of these weird, she's got like this weird like compression sock, but the front is cut off, so my toes are sticking out. I'm wearing that, and I gotta tell you, I don't know if that's doing anything. But
You got good looking toes?
I got beautiful fucking feet. I talked to two dominatrixes one time in Los Angeles, and they told me that I could sell foot pictures for $40 a piece. And I've considered it at times.
What's that? Yeah. Shit, man. What are their numbers? I need to have my feet checked out by them, see if I got a career in the works. That sounds awesome. Want to hear about the grossest job I've ever heard of?
What is it?
All right. A guy, I did stand up with him back in the old days in Chicago, and his job was driving out to old folks' homes with a Dremel, and he had to do some training. It's like a low-end medical kind of technician job, and his job was to use a sanding grinder disc or something on a Dremel tool. And older folks in various facilities have a hard time cutting their toenails, so they can't. And they get so big and thick and yellow and gross that they can't, conventional tools don't work. So you need to bring in an expert. So his job was grinding old people's toenails down. And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's fucking horrible. And he's like, yeah, look, I got all this powder stuck in my coat. And he's like opening the seams on his coat. And he's like, look at all that. That's old people's toenail dust.
That's so
sick. That guy had a bad job.
That's so funny because I always tell my wife whenever we walk together, I point at the barbershop. Anytime I'm at a barbershop, I point at the dumpster and say, that's fucking full of hair, bro. And she gets so nasty because I talked about this on Twitter fucking probably 5-6 years ago. But I think I asked what amount of money it would take for you to jump into a dumpster full of hair. It's like a thing that I've thought of, and just jump in, jump out, you're done, but it's full of hair. And I asked, and I said, I would do it. I'd probably do it for like $5,000. But then motherfuckers jumped in and were like, I'd do it for $500. So it's like, I don't think it's that gross, I guess, but it's always something I think about because it's like people hate hair. It is like a thing. I've talked about it on here a lot, how much people are just so grossed out by hair. And the reason I wouldn't want to jump into a dumpster full of hair isn't because I think it's gross. It's because it's itchy. It would be so itchy. I don't go to a barber because of that. I don't go to a barber because it's easier for me to stand without a shirt on and just shave my head and my face and then jump in the shower and be done with it. Because I hair gets everywhere, it makes you itchy. And I quit doing
Yeah.
that a long time ago. So yeah, I
I
just
as a fellow I was just as a fellow bald, we cut our hair. We still got to cut the sides, until it's not like it's all gone. It's just, it's like it's like a children's soccer field. There's still hair, there's still grass on the edges. You got to cut that, but you're cutting short hair. Like my hair, when it gets to over an eighth of an inch, that's where I'm like, well, my hair's getting kind of long. So when you cut it, although lately this past couple of years I've just been letting it kind of go. I don't really give a shit. But when you cut it, it's tiny little bits, and each one of those is a scratching danger, and that does. If you can't shower right away after trimming your own head, it's a nightmare. I've had to do that before, where I wasn't able to shower and I had to like go out or something. And it's awful. And then you're in a rush and
that is.
you miss part of your hair. You got to be a little thorough. You ever leave like a stripe on the back of your head? It looks horrible.
Yeah, my wife will be like, "Hey, you missed a spot." And I'm like, "I don't give a fuck. I wear a hat. Like I'm always in this hat.
Right.
I take this hat off when I lay in my bed. I finally take the hat off and just throw it on the floor. And even then, like, and this isn't because of my baldness. I mean, everybody knows I'm a fucking bald guy. But in the end, I even lay around in my house. I lay around in my house with a hood on. Like I love like having something on my head. It feels good. It makes me feel comfortable. And it's really weird because I would say when I was 19, 20 years old, I couldn't wear a hat. I was just like, man, I'm never fucking gonna wear a hat. It's not comfortable. It bugs me. And then I started to go bald and got real sensitive about it and started wearing a hat. Now I'm like, I can't imagine. My head feels so strange without a hat on that I don't wear it. But I am a hat man. Oh, I like that. Mochi in the chat said he's a hat man. I can't ever get that song right. And Psychic Gasoline, being a hairy dude means it takes a lot longer to dry after showers. See, I'm not hairy. It don't take me any time. Have you considered? And this is just me fucking spitballing out ideas for you. Have you considered hair dryer the whole body? That's something I would. Maybe they should make like a fucking heat fan. Maybe they should make. Okay, I'm coming in.
Go ahead.
I'm coming into an idea. Oh, Scott Ollinger said I've called into work for not being able to find my hat before. It sucks, man. I can't leave the house. I'm like, where's one of my old hats? I don't know. I have like a bunch of old hats in my office, like the old, like bad Supreme hats. But here's the invention I think I just came up with. Okay, so it will be a sort of heat strip around the door of the house. Okay, like of the bathroom. So it will be like a strip of kind of heat spraying stuff, and when you get out of the tub, you stand in front of the door in the bathroom, and it blows fucking hot air at you, and you're just clean. You're dry. Now, there could be an issue. Yes, Zach H said like a public restroom dryer for the whole body. That is exactly what I'm getting at. Now, I do have one issue before you all bring it up. I mean, you're starting your day sweating in that situation.
Wait, why are you sweating?
Because you get out of the shower and you shoot hot air at yourself, you know?
Oh, it'll raise temperature. Yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah.
You get a hot shower, you get out and you shoot hot air at yourself. You're fucked. You're fucking sweating immediately. It's a mess. It's a mess in the bathroom for you hairy guys.
That's a good invention though. I like that. Yeah, it'll in your hair, your all your hair, your like I have chest hair, stomach hair, back hair, genital hair. But my body is losing hair. My legs are like pretty much completely bald, and my beard is actually falling out. I've had a very nice beard for a couple of decades, and in the last couple of years, it's starting to go. It's about 40% gone now. This old lady neighbor of mine caught me on my back balcony where I have my woodworking shop, and she gave me a whole lecture about how I should Google. She suggested I put it into Google, and maybe I'll find some answers. It's funny how people are like okay with just commenting on something that you might be really upset about or is sensitive, and I don't really feel like talking to people about what to do about my beard. I'm not thin enough to shave it off. It hides my neck fat because that's the obvious answer is, oh, well, just start shaving it completely off. It's like, well, I've had a beard for 20 something years now, man. I like my beard. I look good with a beard. It's devastating, honestly. I could use some medical care to see what's happening because it's terrifying. I don't want to
Put
lose my
some
eyebrow.
Rogaine. Put some Rogaine on your face, dude. Have you thought about that? I don't know if
Yeah.
that stuff works. Well, I was so broke when my hair was falling out, and I was still like, I told my wife, I was like, man, I was thinking, I'm gonna get on Rogaine. Back when I was starting to lose my hair, fucking 2002. And she's like, yeah, fuck, I don't care. Either way, you go bald, you get Rogaine. I don't care. But if you're feeling bad about it, you got to get on the Rogaine. So I fucking
Right.
I don't know what I did. I went to the store and I grabbed the Rogaine, and it's already too expensive for the lifestyle I was living at that time. I mean, it would have been, I had no money at that time, so I couldn't have afforded it. But they said, now here's the thing they said Rogaine only solves the back part of the head. It doesn't solve the fucking front hairline. It's not even for that. Right? So like,
right.
It was just like, okay, I guess, like, and then once you lose the hair, it ain't coming back. You got to get surgery. And there's no fucking way I'm ever getting surgery. I'm not getting hair plugs. I'd rather just not have hair. If I got hair plugs, I would want them to give me long hair, like a fucking pro wrestler hair.
Yeah. Or different hair. It'd be like a carpet sample. Just get like a 2-inch square patch of just various kinds.
Well, now wigs are wigs are something I'm fine looking into.
Do they do the snap wigs? Remember that was a thing with like toupees, like where they actually
Maurice
bolt
wigs.
like a couple of metal snaps to your head, and then you have to snap it on. Is that still a thing? Was that even real? What do you think about that? Because wigs look amazing, at least in the movies. I don't hang around with wig people very much.
Here's the thing. You got to pick a hat or a fucking wig. And I picked a fucking hat. And if it all sort of what's the word? I can't grow long hair. Mochi in the chat said Brian should rock a bald pony tail. I can't grow hair back there. It won't grow long. But you choose a wig or you choose a hat, but it has the same result. Everybody knows you're bald and you're trying to hide it. Is the way I think. I don't think anybody thinks that about hats, but I think when you see a 43-year-old man with a hat, that's probably what they're doing, with a baseball cap. So like you get the hat, you get the if you get the wig, everybody fucking knows you got the wig. I have never in my life seen a wig that works. People say that Howard Stern's hair is a wig, but I don't believe that. So I'm fully not wig pilled on Howard Stern. I think that's his hair. But like I don't know. I just don't think a wig ever works. A toupee never fucking works. So just go with a hat and then buy cool hats. That's the fucking thing, dude. The coolest fucking thing about hats is they make very cool ones. Like this Cubs one I'm wearing. It's a very cool hat. Or the red Yankees cap I wear, which people always think is a Yankees thing, but it's a Fred Durst thing. Or the but yeah, plugs are not, they don't call plugs. It's not plugs. It's the thing Anthony Cumia got. Not
transplant.
Plugs. It's I would do it. If I had a few $1,000s, I think I'd get dreadlocks transplanted on my head. I would do that. I don't know why though. I don't think I look good with hair. I didn't have hair when I had hair. When I could grow hair, I didn't have hair, Hank. I shaved it.
Oh, I see. You shaved it, yeah. yeah, I always had very fine hair. I remember when I would get my hair cut at the salon in my teens. A lady once, and she's like a cool, like sexy older lady. You know what I mean? Just at that age, everyone's a sexy older lady. And she goes, "You got baby hair. You got baby hair. It's so fine." And I was like, "Is that?"
Yeah,
I didn't have any idea if that was good or not. I was like, "Oh," but then it started falling out in my later teens, and it's just kind of been all downhill from there. I peaked at 14.
I need to get this out here for the Shocktober heads. Mobile Newman said
All right.
individually placed follicles. That is what Anthony Cumia called it. He said it's not plugs, it's individually placed follicles, is what he said when he got the surgery done.
Yeah.
And that was the line that was going through my head was like, I don't know. I'm not getting surgery. I'm not even getting the eye shit. You know, I'll just get better glasses. I'll get cool glasses. I'm not even
Oh,
going to do the
right.
eye thing. You know, I just don't know if like there's any reason to if I was getting surgery, and I've said this and I don't want to say this on the show that much, but if I did anything, it would be, and I know I know lipo suction is the one I would do if I had the chance. But I don't even know if they do that anymore. I just am too lazy to, do it. But I wouldn't get any of them, to tell you the truth. I don't want surgery. I hated getting surgery the time I got it. Sucked. It hurt like
Sure.
hell. So how was your Thanksgiving, Hank?
Oh, it was nice. I didn't do anything at all. I stayed in. I didn't. Yeah, I cooked a couple days before. I made a casserole with chicken and a bunch of chicken quarters and little cooking tip, by the way. I made like a broccoli, cream of mushroom, and some other veggies. You just got
Ugh.
to mix a bunch of crap into a casserole pan, add some junk. Hang on, use the broccoli stem as a roasting rack to keep your chicken slightly above the mushy pile of gruel below so it's not soaking. It actually works quite well because you got to get that air circulating for it to sort of roast thoroughly. It'll still cook in the muck, but it'll get soggy. So that's just a little cooking tip for everybody who doesn't want to
Just
use a metal roasting rack. Use your broccoli stems. How's
oh,
that, huh?
jeez.
You turned on?
I gotta say this though. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter on Friday or
Look,
Saturday, but I decided
no.
that we're not doing casseroles anymore. So
What?
sorry.
You? That's horrible. Why? Why not?
I just decided
Explain
we're not
yourself.
making those anymore. You know, I just
You got
they're
to improvise.
gross. They're
Yeah.
gross. They're never
So
good. They're always 100% of the time you're dumping a box in a can, and then another box in another can. That's what it is. If you can say, "Oh, I bought
uh huh.
fresh," no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You bought that Campbell's Cream of Mushroom, or maybe even the generic brand. And I think we're done with. I think casseroles, they've outlived their like. It's like ham salad,
It's
Hank.
just flat. It's just flat soup. Overcooked flat soup is what a casserole is. It's stew in a casserole. It's all it is. They got to, or you're overthinking it. Casserole is just a
No,
bunch of schmutz mixed together in a shallow pan, and then but it's not intended to be necessarily eaten as a soup. I'm saying it's in the spirit of experimentation. You can make any kind of stew out of meat and veggies and water, and just like casserole, you can make it a potato based one. You can add some veggies. Cream of mushroom always makes a good filling. And no, I did not follow my
ugh.
grandpa's family recipe for our own homemade mushroom soup. I did buy store bought.
So
But
let me
I think
explain
it's okay
this.
for you to take a principled stand against defending what you believe. That's healthy, freedom with crispy onions. I'm sorry, I saw a guy in the chat that, or someone in the
Oh,
chat
I
said
don't
that
like that though.
French
I don't like
onions,
crisp.
crisp them
I
up.
don't need that shit.
Oh,
And by the way,
you can mix the
lasagna
textures
is
if
a
you cook
whole
it right.
lasagna is a whole different thing. I'm talking about the shit that your family brings on Thanksgiving. If you're in the Midwest, it's just a bunch of gruel, is what it is. And
Yeah,
yeah, there's way better foods out there. I honestly, I don't even like Thanksgiving food, to tell you the truth. And uh I haven't eaten a casserole in many years. I ate like a little bit of turkey and it sucked because the place they bought it at fucking botched it. and then because they buy a smoked
Hmm.
turkey and then a regular turkey that they make, and the place that the smoked turkey, they just totally botch the fucking thing. And then and then my buddy smoked a prime rib, which was pretty sick. I really love it. And then I made pizza dough. Um, incredible pizza dough, by the way. It was pizza dough, New York style, cold fermented pizza dough, and I just had pizza when I got home. I was like, I ate a little bit
You
of the food, and I was like, whatever, man. This food's all gray.
you
I
made
don't
it.
like it.
Sorry, Brent. You made the pizza dough yourself from flour
I
and
do.
water.
Yeah, I'm real
That's
good
great.
at that
I've done
shit.
that. Yeah,
Uh,
I've done. That's rad. Dude. Baking is a trip because at first you start, you think you're going to screw it all up, and you probably will the first couple times. But it's really rewarding to do. I used to bake a whole bunch back in the day. I haven't spent a while, but yeah, that's awesome. You're like
I'm
Mobley.
pretty good. I'm really good at pizza dough, and I'm really good at I'm really good at pizza dough. I'm really good at like bread, and I'm just pretty good at baking. I'm that's probably where my strong suit in cooking is. But yeah, I
Yeah.
taught myself how to do
I
pizza
gave
dough, and then I got sort of obsessed with like making New York style pizza dough, and it's just something that I've been like kind of obsessed with. And so I started doing that. It's the kind that has to rise for 3 days in a refrigerator and shit like that. It's a real high stakes game, if I'm telling you the truth, because
yeah.
it's rising for 3 days. You're like, I don't fucking know, but it was good,
That's like
very good.
yeah.
Yeah, and I used the fancy flour in
That's
there.
some
I'm
fun
just a
with
big
that stuff.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like
you start
Thanksgiving.
to learn the different types of flour. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Thanksgiving. Hate it. It's a problematic holiday anyway, fuck it. And
Yeah.
I went and hung out
I
with my
mean, yeah.
family. Well, I understand. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm trying to make it so I sound like really good, problematic. Oh,
Yeah.
you know.
Don't be too woke.
Um
Uh, we should have
that's what
4
I'm trying to
Thanksgivings a year.
be.
There should or 6. Yeah, me too. I know. I'm very woke. I'm proud of it actually. But
We should have
Thanksgiving should
more
be every
time
holiday. All
off.
the other holidays are stupid shit. Yeah, exactly. Like Americans love Thanksgiving because it's one of the couple of times a year where they get some time. And what do we do with that time is we get angry about politics and we shop because we're just such a freaking captured people. Our whole psyche is demented by our capitalist nightmarish culture. So yeah, but like
Nobody
we should have all kinds of time off.
nobody talked politics this year. The problem is uh they don't want to get me started. I have intimidated everybody into just being like, let's not bring that stuff up because he's annoying. And it's been nice. So no politics. I
Yeah.
don't go to the in-laws except for they had to pick one. They either get Christmas or Thanksgiving, and I guess they get Christmas this year. And
Mm.
yeah, I hate it. I just no politics, no interesting stuff. My dad spent the whole day telling me about cruises that he'd been on. And here's the fucking problem with that. I thought he was going on like nice cruises, cuz he's like, "Oh, just stay on a boat the whole time. It's great. Fucking everything you ever need is on the fucking boat." So I thought he was like me, a fancy boy, a fancy lad, and he would
Yeah.
go on a nice cruise. This motherfucker is going on third tier cruises. He's like on the boat. He's on the old boats. This motherfucker, and it's just like, wow, that is sad. And they're doing it all the time. I mean, they go on and they look for last minute deals and then they just fucking go and get on the boats. And it is just such a fucking, it let me down so much because I thought they were doing luxury. They're not doing luxury, they're on an old boat.
Right.
I don't think my dad's a
They're doing
4-star
interior
hotel
rooms.
guy. Yeah, I don't think my dad's a 4-star hotel guy like me. I think he's a 3-star hotel guy. And the motherfucker is flying Spirit Airlines everywhere. It's like, fuck. Shit.
Man,
Ugh.
he's a half a star
Yes.
guy. And that sucks. Yeah,
He's a
it's fun
misery
when they,
guy.
it's like he's doing that the last trips before they crash the boats into that recycling beach where they tear them apart, how they crash them. I don't know what they do with old. It's just like, "Wait, have you been on a cruise? I went on one. It was miserable." It's just like
Never.
I mean, we got
I'll
drunk. It
never
was with
do
a
it.
girlfriend. We got drunk a whole bunch. We made a couple of friends, but it was just like we didn't even really have sex. We were too like a little seasick, and I'm not, you know what I mean? It was just like we were just like drunk, hungover, or like tired and a little out of it. And these obnoxious day trips. I think she won it on a radio show, so it was probably like a 2-star cruise. But man, it was miserable. But it's weird that people go back. Like one time, okay, you should experience it one time, although it's a giant, horrible industry for the environment. But okay, one time or even twice, I can understand it. Once to Alaska, once to Florida, you're good. But to go back, it's just like I want to be trapped on a mall. I know this is hacky, but like you're stuck on a mall with a bunch of obnoxious people. Like that, what's
Yeah.
the pull? It's so weird. I
Well,
don't understand that.
that's what Psychic Gasoline just asked me. What would your dad spend more on that you would skimp out on? Nothing. For real. Nothing. Okay. No, because okay, he has a hot tub in his basement that is like a portable sort of blow up hot tub, which is fucking nutty. And it's in his basement. And I would say, okay, he bought the fucking hot tub and put it in his fucking basement. I'll get a picture of it around Christmas. You see this hot tub, you're gonna be like, that's the saddest shit I ever saw in my life. It's an unfinished basement. They're sitting in an unfinished basement in a hot tub with like a 28-inch TV. But he did spend that money. But if I wanted a hot tub, I'd get a nice one and put it in a place that's beautiful, not in the basement. So I don't think there's anything. I guess no, there's nothing. But there's nothing. I can't think of a single fucking thing. I go to his house and I just look around. He has Bose sound systems. How's that? But I have Bose speakers. He gave them to me, but I have them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. I don't think there's anything. He makes so much more money than me, and he's so much cheaper than me. But
Yeah,
Hank, I gotta get. I got
Bose is a step up.
Yeah,
take
Bose
the
are
next
nice.
call.
I got
That's fine. I've been taking up.
Well, thanks. It's
Let me
good to
just
hear from
challenge
you,
you
buddy.
real
Call
fast.
again.
Final, make cinnamon rolls.
I
Make
do.
cinnamon rolls.
Christmas time.
Oh, you do? All right. Yeah, hell yeah.
All right.
That's fucking rad. That gets that. All right. Bye. Love you. Love
Gets
everybody.
Hank excited. I got Hank excited over there with my cinnamon roll talk. It's fucking cinnamon rolls, baby. Let's answer this next call. Oh, hello. Who am I talking to?
Hey, it's Jacob in
What's
Oklahoma.
up, Jacob? In Oklahoma. I like. Wait, do I know you, Jake, from Oklahoma?
I don't think so.
Oh, I was gonna say I have a friend named Jake from Oklahoma. So it kind of hit me like, wow.
Yeah, no, I've known you for years. No. Yeah, I've been listening for a long time. Finally happened to see that the call-in show is going on Twitter, so decided to call in. One thing that I heard you talk about, the cigarette smoke buildup on the mic thing.
Mm-hmm.
In 2014, I worked at the Apple store, and there was this one guy who brought this. Apple used to make this tower, this massive, big, bulky tower computer. Anyway, he brings one in and he's like, "Hey, it's overheating, da 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 da." And so we get it to the back and open it up, and there is at least a 1/4-inch layer, and I swear to God, of just cigarette gunk inside of the computer. So much so that myself and the other two guys who were looking at it immediately kind of got a wild little nicotine buzz. And we had to put it back together and take it back to him and say, "I'm sorry, we can't work on this."
I grew up with this woman. Well, one of my friends, his sister, smoked a lot of cigarettes. I'd be so surprised if she's alive. still. She would probably be close to 50, and she didn't just smoke cigarettes, she smoked 100s, which is longer cigarettes, which is
Oh yeah.
I always saw people that smoke 100s as being the craziest mother, because it's like, damn, the cigarette too. Like, fucking
It's
cool
like,
down,
it's like
man.
The same as the it's like the American spirits. Like, those motherfuckers are a cigar. Like,
Yeah.
the whole point of a cigarette is it's quick, you get it over with, you move on. Yeah, no. I say all this,
but-
definitely went through 100 days.
Me too. But she would sit in her bedroom. She would sit in her bedroom.
Oh, no.
And it was crazy because her dad didn't smoke. He just let his kids smoke in the house, which was fucking just unheard of for a dude to just be like, yeah, go ahead. Whatever. I don't care. I don't smoke.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'd never heard of
Especially
that in
because
my
he
life
doesn't
any
smoke.
other place. Huh?
Wow. I was saying, especially because he doesn't smoke. Like, if you don't smoke, cigarettes smell like shit. Like,
I know.
They smell
couldn't.
bad.
I think about it
Like-
still to this day, where like you just let a bunch of teenagers sit in your house and fucking smoke cigarettes, and you didn't smoke. That's a psycho thing to fucking do. You know?
Yeah.
Not psycho. It's nice. It's just he wasn't like this incredibly. He wasn't this like super nice dad. You know what I mean? He was just a
Right.
dude that he was just like, whatever, come over, smoke cigarettes. And or come,
Right.
you're welcome to come over and hang out. You sit over there, you smoke some cigarettes, and but she would sit in her bedroom and at a desk, okay, with a TV on the desk, like a computer,
Sure.
and she would just fucking pound cans of Coke and smoke fucking 100s. And the fucking TV, it looked almost like sepia in a way. Like it had like all around the outside of the thing. It just was so smoky. And like I could not figure it out. You know what I mean? Like I just was like, I should have quit smoking then. I smoked in my house until
I smoked in
my
one
wife got
apartment
pregnant.
that I've lived in. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They don't even let you do that anymore, though, I don't think. If you're living in an apartment, I don't think you're allowed to smoke in there.
No, definitely I was not allowed to when I did.
Yeah.
But here we are.
I don't know if they can put that in your lease or whatever. I think in my lease they were like no fucking pets and I think they said no smoking. And there's a lady 2 apartments down that does smoke, and then like she'll go outside to fucking blast a cig, and the neighbors will come out and fucking yell at her for it. And and she just yells back at them. Like during the summer, they're just out there fucking yelling at each other constantly. Stop smoking outside. It's fucking coming in my window. Shut your fucking window. It's just like, fuck. It gets crazy. It gets crazy around here.
I didn't realize. Oh, fuck. Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize Ohio was so wild.
Well, it's just this neighborhood's really weird because it's like I live here because it's a good school district, but it's also downtown.
Right.
And it's like I live in the part of the school district that broke people moved into to get their kids in a nice school district. So like there is like a up the hill. There is like a whole thing going on with rich people. Nothing ever happens up there. Houses, like $1 million houses and shit like that. But down here, I pay $1,000 a month for an apartment, and my neighbors probably pay $1,000 to $1,500 a month for an apartment. I got a 3-bedroom apartment with a basement for $1,200 is what I pay. So like down here,
that's
it's
what I'm
like
paying
this
for a 2-bed right now.
Yeah. And down here at this part of the hill, it's sort of a mixed bag of who moves here. And like, it's a lot of libs because it's still downtown. So like there's a lot of
Right,
libs and
right.
stuff, but then there's these people that are like, I want my kids to go to this school, and
Right.
they don't sometimes match well with the libs down here.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I mean,
fucking
like,
funny though.
Oklahoma is like, or Oklahoma City is one of, or Oklahoma County, which is like the county Oklahoma City's in, is one of 2 counties in the state that hasn't voted red in, I don't know, 40 years or something. It's us and
I
Tulsa,
love Oklahoma
basically.
City. I love that place.
God.
I thought that place was cool as fuck.
Man. It's, I've been here for 30 years. Sorry, I lived in Texas for 4 years, but I have seen this place change. But I think having been here so long, it just still feels like just Oklahoma City, you know?
It's a cool
But
place,
that's
man.
cool
We
that
went there. We went down there because we did a Texas tour. So we did
Right.
Dallas, Houston, and Austin, and then Oklahoma City. And I don't remember what the place was called that we played at, but it was the only club that didn't try to fuck us over. The Speakeasy was what it was called. It's the only club that didn't try to fuck us over on
Yeah.
that tour.
Oh, I love
And the
it.
people were so
love that.
nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And the
that place
people were
cool.
super nice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's
Yeah,
a lot of
'cause
shitty owners of clubs here.
Texas clubs are
Yeah.
monsters. All Texas clubs are
Yeah.
fucking owned by fucking absolute evil monsters. If
Yep. I used to pretend to be a DJ when I was younger, and trying to do anything with any real club that wasn't owned by someone I knew personally was a fucking nightmare.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can only.
Those are the king of small business tyrants because
Yep.
they fucking think they're giving you. I mean, they think they're giving. I mean, they think they're in show business, but they also think
Mhm.
they're not in show business. They're in the bar owning business. The person is performing is in
Right.
show business, but they think they're in show
Correct. Yeah.
business. But they also operate like small business tyrants, and they're some of the worst. You know, I've told the story about.
Yep.
We did a gig in Austin at this place called the Red Door, and they were like,
Yeah.
hey, you know, you got once you sell $800 worth of beer, then you start getting paid. So you have to sell or $1,000 worth of beer or something like
Yep.
that. And we're like, that's fucking easy. That's not going to be hard with our people. They drink, and we had sold a ton of tickets, and everything was fine. We get there, and those fucking motherfuckers, they told us that we had to be done by 10. So we got there at 8 and had to be done by 10.
Oh,
and
fuck
then
off. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So like there was no, because most of the time we were there,
Well,
we were
yeah,
fucking
you had
performing. So
an
they're not going to get
hour.
up to get beer. Yeah, they're not going to get up to
Right.
get beer. So I had like a half hour to
fuck.
sell $1,000 worth of beer. It's called the North Door, and Pyongyang Jim said they don't exist anymore. Thank God. Those fucking people deserve it.
Well,
That was
well,
such
that's,
a fucking
fucked up.
shit place. Yeah, it's been fucking 3 or 4 years. I still get fucking mad about it to this day. It just pisses
well, yeah.
that kind of shit.
God.
Yeah, because you're like,
But
fuck, I
that's
sold
like
the,
putting a
we
foot
sold. Yeah, we sold a decent amount of tickets. I know that.
Right.
And it didn't work out that show. I think, and then we did Dallas, and in Dallas, the motherfucker was like, yeah, we'll pay you next week. It's like, that's not how it works, dude.
Yeah,
Tour.
no.
Yeah, we'll mail you a check. Fuck you, dude. Give me the
Yeah,
money.
sure, here's an IOU. I'll get you back.
Yeah.
God.
Because he's like, he was like, they were like, oh, the owner's not here. He'll mail you a check. And it was just like, oh, cool. Because I'm on tour and I need to deposit that fucking check because I got to go to the next
Right.
fucking place. So,
So,
yeah, I have this like really great feeling of about Oklahoma City because if they didn't fuck me over.
Well, hell yeah, man. Next time you come down here, I'll come out.
Hey, you never know with me. I do want to. I do want to drive across the country and fuck around. So, just gonna sometime
Love it.
next year maybe. I'm trying to go to California in February to meet Mancow.
Oh.
He's doing a convention, and I would like to go to that convention. Yeah, I'd like to go to LA and go to that convention and meet Mancow to try to become his friend. So then I can get him on my show and goof on him.
Oh, that would be amazing.
So
Well,
yeah.
shit. All right. I'll let you
Jacob,
get
thank
some
you.
other callers. Yeah, love the show. Keep
Well, thanks for calling.
fighting.
Enjoy.
Fight.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right, folks. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this next call. I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. I had suspended new calls. If you feel like you want to call in, there's room in the queue. If you don't feel like you want to call in, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here in like a half hour. So I'm answering this call. Well, hello there. Who am I talking to tonight?
It's Bear.
Oh, it's been so long. Happy Bearsgiving, Bear. I kind of thought it was you.
Thank you.
But I didn't want to guess because there's another one with a high number of calls. So I was like, is this Bear? But I saw you earlier and I was like, that's Bear. That's got to be Bear. How's it going, Bear?
Oh, it's going fantastic. I got the job at the car dealership. I've finally gone from Chili's.
But how's the dealership going?
Oh, it feels weird because on the one hand, I'm a worker. I'm definitely getting fucked over. But on the other hand, it's just so much better than every other job I have. If there was anything that could convince me that capitalism could work, it's this.
So you said you're making 15 or 12?
I'm making 13 actually right now.
How many hours? How many hours you working?
I'm getting like 40 a week ish.
Whew, Mamma mia, that's so much. Was that what you were getting at Chili's?
No, I was working like 25 at Chili's. I wasn't doing dick at Chili's.
You're fucking rich, Bear. That's the kind of thing. I mean, have you gotten your first paycheck?
I've not. It's actually coming this upcoming Friday. Yeah, should be this Friday.
You're sitting around, right? And you're doing the addition, and really. Oh, okay. I'll take off 20% for taxes. I know it's only 15, but.
Oh my god. Okay. I did the thing that you should never do when you get a higher paying job, which is I just really hoped that my first check would be nice. So I went out and I ordered 4 brand new tires for my car because a shit box. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put a full set of brand new fucking tires, which I never do. I always buy used tires. So I spent like way too much on that. And then I also went out and bought one of those fucking those like force feedback steering wheel things they make for like the PlayStation, for like racing games.
Yeah, I do.
One of them was on sale at GameStop, so I picked that up too, and I don't have the fucking money for either of them. I just did a thing. Like this is the first year where I was like, I'm not going to buy anything on Black Friday. And I didn't. I was very lucky that I was able to keep myself away from the store. Cause I was on the Lego website just fucking refreshing to find out what was on sale. But it turned out there was nothing I wanted on sale, which was actually very lucky because I would have done the same thing. I would have spent a bunch of fucking money I didn't have. And I would have done it on a Firm or Klarna, one of those things where you buy now, pay later situations. Oh, I put it all on my credit card, like a jackass. because I was like, oh, I'll just pay it off when I get paid. And now that I'm actually doing the math, I'm like, oh, I can't pay it off when I get paid.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that when I get paid. I know, and that's the fucking thing with credit cards is like you got all the best intentions in the fucking world, but once you got that fucking thing, you're like, well, it wouldn't hurt if because I just bought a Lego set with mine, and I had to put in my calendar to put that amount of money, like to make that amount of a payment the next time I get paid, because if I don't do it, I'm just I'm just gonna let that thing keep building up, and I know I'm not gonna do what I said I was gonna do, but it's what are you gonna do? I hate fucking credit cards. They're not good. And what are you doing at the car dealership? What is your job?
Oh, I'm like a express technician. So it's like it's an express tech is like a Honda specific thing, but basically I'm like one of those like discount tire guys, like I do oil changes and tire stuff, occasionally I'll do like a transmission fluid thing, but it's mostly just like oil changes and tires.
That's probably pretty sick though. You're not dealing with customers anymore like you were at Chili's.
Okay,
I guess you might have to talk to a guy for a minute, but at least he's not standing there watching you work.
Okay, no, actually, they'll stand there and watch me work, but I don't have to talk to them because they're not allowed in the shop, like, at all. So I never have to talk to a customer, but they'll stand at, like, the fucking window between, like, the service room of the dealership and the actual shop, and they'll, like, stare at me, and it's the worst shit. I hate when they do that.
Oh, brother, I do that. So I can't, and it's not,
God.
So I'll sit down and look at my phone for a good amount of time, but if there comes a time where it's just like, and I don't know how long it takes to do fucking anything. I know I get my oil changed and it's done in like 20 minutes. So I say 20 minutes for an oil change. And if it's been like 45 minutes, I then start looking out the window. And in my mind, I never say this out loud. Everybody knows I'm a fucking coward, or I'm just too nice to do it, to do stuff to service workers. But like I'll say in my head, oh, is this going to fucking take all day now? What the fuck is going on here? Why is this lasting?
Oh
so
my God.
long?
I know that's what they're thinking too, and it's like, dude, there were 16 cars ahead of you. Like, just chill. I just got your car in here. It's always the worst.
They haven't even fucking touched my car yet. That's the one I always think. It's like, these motherfuckers haven't even touched my car. And so I'm looking, and then the pacing starts by the window, where it's like,
oh, dude,
pacing back and forth by the window.
We had this old ass motherfucker come in on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and we actually get holiday pay here, which is the first time I've ever had anything like that. So like, we're all looking forward to not fucking working on Thanksgiving and getting like $180 for sitting on our ass. So we're all ready to get the hell out of there. It's the end of the day, and this old ass motherfucker just keeps walking back and forth in front of the window and like trying to peek his head in the shop, and the fucking like head mechanics keeps like telling him like, hey, you can't fucking be in here. Stop doing that shit. Just annoying the fuck out of all of us. And somehow I got stuck with his fucking car, and he was apparently like yelling at the service dude, the dude at the desk, about how like I rotated the tires wrong or something. I don't even fucking know.
I never say a word. I might go up to the counter and say, do you know how long this is going to take? Like, to the other person. And then they usually just blow you off, that's fine with me. I just have, like, in your mind, you just have to say something, because you're just like, I'm stuck here at this fucking place. Because I hate being stuck at the dealership. It drives me up the wall. They don't have nothing to do there. They should fucking put a pool table.
It's boring as shit. Oh my God, dude. If we had a pool table at the dealership, I might fucking tell the guy that owns it to do that shit. Because I would. This is a little fun fact, a little bear war for you. I fucking love pool, and I've been playing it like most of my life. And the local place to go play pool, it's called Archers. It's actually owned by Johnny Archer, who is like a 6-time world champion of 9-ball. So, like, you know, I got, like, the best place to go play pool, like, not even 3 minutes from my work. But if I could save that 3 minutes, that'd be fucking fantastic, dude.
Put a pool table in there. Put like I mean, those fucking arcade cabinets are so cheap now, too.
Oh
You
god,
know,
yeah,
you
the
go
fucking
get those shitty
multi-case.
cheap ones. Yeah, get a few
Yeah.
of those. Maybe, you know. Oh, Psychic Gasoline wants to know if the service writers try to upsell the service. Do they try to do the upsell to everybody?
Yeah, they do that, and the thing is, I get extra pay every time I recommend something to them to like get done, you know. So like, I'm going through your fucking car with a fine-tooth comb, trying to find anything I can sell to you. So like, I'll be marking shit. I'll be like, no, that's fucking bushing. That's totally fine, and you don't actually need. It's just there to make your car slightly more comfortable, but it costs like $60. Yeah, you need that shit immediately.
I hate that fucking. Oh my god, the air filter. It just that makes me want to fucking lose my mind. That fucking thing. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'll wipe it off.
The fucking I drive this really shitty Nissan Rogue, right? In fact, it's so shitty. I'm trying to get rid of it immediately. I just have no fucking money. But that's besides the point. Every fucking time I like went anywhere for anything wrong with this car that like I couldn't do myself, because like I did oil changes and transmission service and all that shit myself. I'm not paying someone for that. I can do it myself, especially now. But like, you know, anytime I had like an engine problem, they'd be like, "Oh, you need to replace your air filters, by the way." So I finally fucking ripped the air intake box out of it and just slapped one of those like big ass cone filters on it. Cause like, no, I'm not buying another fucking piece of paper that's gonna get fucking dusty as hell and not work in a month. Like, I'm done. You're not doing it anymore.
That's what they do.
You can't say sick now.
It's got like a tiny bit of dirt on it, and they're like, it's got like a Barry, you're in trouble. For you, but it's not a scumbag move, outer organism, to go through with a fine-tooth comb. It's just what you gotta. It's actually helping in a way, and then we're all just trying to not get ripped off.
Here's the thing. Here's my defense, right? I'm not costing anybody anything, right? I'm not gonna like service somebody. We're not gonna refuse to service somebody because they're not gonna replace their air filter, you know. But
True.
For that guy driving the fucking Land Rover, yeah, for that guy driving the fucking Land Rover who's got an extra, you know, $6,000 every month to just do dick with, he can buy the fucking expensive ass bushings and air filters and shit, you know. I can get that bonus on my check. The only people buying that shit is people who have plenty of money for it, and we all know that.
Yeah, I mean, broke people know not to buy the fucking air filter. We all know that. I grew up.
Yeah, broke people know it's a scam.
Yeah, the air filter's the worst one. But I also hate it when them motherfuckers make you like the move where they're like, I wouldn't even drive out of here in that thing. It's like, motherfucker, I drove it here, motherfucker.
Oh my god, I have done that once, but to be fair, the lady's radiator was almost missing, and I walked out there and I was like, "Dog, you gotta do something. Like, you can't drive like this. Your engine will explode on you."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I've been driving it like that for almost a year now," and I'm like, "I don't fucking know how. Like, I'm just being honest."
Yeah. Well, you know, people don't understand. This is something I used to fucking get insane about at the cable company. They're like, "Well, it was working yesterday." And it's like, yeah, everything that breaks was working yesterday. It's broken.
Like it had to work up until the point that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
If it was already fucking broke, you wouldn't even know. Like,
yeah, there's essentially a day where the day before it was working and today it's not. That's what broken means. That's what I always fucking yell. That's what broken means. I would get so fucking mad at these people at the cable company.
God.
Because that's the other thing. The cable company, they weren't getting charged for shit. You know, I never charged anybody. I threatened a few times to charge somebody for a service call because they were being a dick to me. You know what I mean? So I would be like, well, if I do that, you know, I got to charge you $90 an hour because they were being an asshole. I would never do that any other time. Or I was trying to get out of work. That's the other thing. It's like you go to a fucking huge house and it's like, I ain't running fucking outlets here. But yeah,
That's what
I
I
know
was
where you're
fucking
at.
doing. I used to do like fucking freelance PC repair work, you know, just to make some extra cash. And whenever somebody would be like, well, it should be working just fine, I would always be like, then why am I here? And it would usually get them to shut the fuck up, you know? It's the same thing. It was working yesterday. Okay. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Then why am I here if you think it's fine? Why you let me go home?
It was always working yesterday. That's every time. You just got somebody needs to make one of those signs you hang up at a mechanic place. It was always working before it broke, because that used to make me fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy. I'd be like, your TV's not working. It was working yesterday. Well, yeah, but it's not now though. We're fucking trying to make it work. But then they accuse you of breaking it too. That's the other fucking problem. If you tell somebody that something is fucked up, and if you tell somebody that something is fucked up and then they answer you with like, they're going to charge you, that does suck for everybody involved. But like, it's not your fault that they're being charged. You can't give things, any person, I think, that is listening to this show, if they could give away things for free, they would. I know I always did. I always was like, you know, I hooked up free cable for people and shit like that. It's just sometimes that shit, you just, you know, you ain't trying to lose your job. You're not trying to steal, you know. But car dealerships are a hot topic. They're like a kind of, you're working at the place where, I mean, you've now done exactly what I did and got a job at the place where the most people are the most miserable. Like when I was working for the cable company, they would do those polls about worst companies, and it was always like at the top. Cable companies were always at the top. Cable companies and car dealerships. So you have now entered the world of people just gonna hate you, and that's just the way it is.
You know what I am gonna say? I feel like people were more miserable whenever they go to a fucking Chili's than they are at a car dealership.
That might be true.
I make them face. I really think the gloom sets in on every fucking person the second they step into Chili's. Like I don't think anyone's ever been happy at a Chili's. I truly don't.
That is
if anyone in this chat can name one time they had a good memory at a Chili's, I will give you all the money I own. Like it's not happening.
Yeah, my wife recently went with my aunt to Chili's, and she said it's the first time she'd been to Chili's since, you know, probably 2003 or 4, and she was like, it was a hard place.
Which was probably the last time it was decent.
Yeah. So now, but I mean, the car dealership is a jump up. I actually think from Chili's, in that it's I think like people get so mad because they don't trust anybody in that whole building at all, because it's a low trustworthy job. It's a job that has a very low trust rate, if that's something you would say. You know, it's like a low level of like, I don't trust anybody in here. There might not be.
Oh yeah, and
I guess I would
should be like I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if I didn't fucking work there, I wouldn't trust dick that anyone said there. I still don't trust the fucking salespeople. Occasionally, the salespeople would come back there and be like, "Do any of you guys need a car?" And we're all like, "Fuck you. We're not. I don't trust you for shit. No, you can't run my credit. Go somewhere else."
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I remember one time when I was I used to get bored when there weren't any calls to do. When I was a service tech at Insight, and one time I went to H.H. Gregg, and they apparently at H.H. Gregg get just to wander around and look at shit, you know, and the salesperson, because I think I've never heard this for sure. I don't know if there's anybody out here. I don't know if there's anybody out here who has actually worked for H.H. Gregg, but I think they get paid on commission. And I'm standing there looking at this TV, this big flat screen. At the time, that was a big fucking deal, or plasma. It was a plasma screen TV at this time. And a guy walks up to me and is like, yeah, they're switching everything over to digital next year, so you're going to have to buy one of these. And this is about the best price I can give you. I fucking turned around, and he saw that I was wearing the work uniform, and he was like, never mind, and just walked away from me.
Oh, my God. You know, I fucking, personally, I'm like a huge fucking Honda fanboy, you know, because I'm just a car guy anyways. So when I found out that we had like Honda merch that I could get discounted, I bought up a bunch of it. But it really makes it funny now whenever I go to look at like fucking used cars, because I'm looking at like Civics and Acuras and stuff, and they'll start telling me something, and I'll just be like, yeah, you sure about that? And they'll just be like, well, you know, you fucking know. This car ain't worth shit. What will you give me for it? It's really fucking funny.
Yeah. I do want to say, I think H.H. Gregg is actually... they sell all the same shit as Best Buy. I think the workers just get paid on commission, so it's just slightly, well, I don't know, because there are times where, like, if people are making commission, it makes the experience kind of better than, like, when you go to Best Buy and you just stand around and nobody wants to talk to you. You want to buy something so bad, but they got to go in the back and get it. They just keep walking by you. So at least if they're making commission, they'll come up to you and see what you need.
I have never had a place to talk about this, but I fucking hate Best Buy with a burning passion. There is no place I'd rather go in less than fucking Best Buy.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're young, so I don't think that there was a period before the internet was really taken off where you would just go there and hang out, because they had CDs, they had movies, DVDs, and me and my buddies would just go there and hang out.
The worst, I have two fucking terrible Best Buy stories. The first one was when, oh my God, what was the last one in the Firefly trilogy? Was that one 3 from Hell? One of those Rob Zombie movies, right? It released on Blu-ray and DVD, and it was exclusive to Best Buy. And I already owned every other Rob Zombie movie that was out on like physical media, so I had to have it. And I had to fucking deal with Best Buy customer service trying to get it, because they were like, oh, I don't think we have it. I'm like, you're the only store that has it. It's exclusive to you. You have to have at least one copy of it. No one else in this fucking state is buying this. And they were like, no, it's not here. And it was the whole time. It just took me like an hour and a half to finally get someone to go fucking like look in the back.
Can you go in the back? Can you go? That's the most annoying word a person says it to a retail person, though. Can you go look in the back?
Oh,
hey, can you go look in the back? Because it's the worst.
And the whole time I was like...
Because you know there ain't shit in the back. There's nothing in the back.
I was like 99 times out of 100. I know there's nothing there, but just fucking look. There is this time, I swear. And there was. I was right. And and it also made me feel like a shit person, because I had to sit there and try to convince them, like, no, it really is in the back. I know your job better than you do. And like, of course they're going to fucking listen to me. It sucked. It was so bad. The other one was I went to try to buy I went to buy a camera lens, and the guy just kept trying to convince me that I couldn't afford it. And I'm like, motherfucker, who cares? Give it to me. I'm going to buy it right now. Don't tell me. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Sitting there like,
I just saw. Sorry. I just saw Hunter Biden said the incentive is fucked with commission because their rent depends on you walking out with the most expensive products. And that is true. I think I'm just saying from like a pure customer service, like situation. It's like there's two choices in retail. And one is go to Best Buy, where, as Hootie Owl says, Best Buy used to be the spot. Now there's like one person working in the entire store, and it's impossible to buy anything there. Yeah. Like Best Buy, you can go there, and nobody can bother. Like nobody will talk to you. You can't get a TV. You can't get a fucking washer because there's not enough fucking people working there. And then commission to me was always like they're a little pushy, but at least they're fucking there to help me, you know. And as they said, as everybody's goofing on the back now, sending people to the back, which is very funny. Psychic Gasoline says, yeah, let me go to our warehouse guy, Wayne D. Back. So the back, I got to go to the back. Can you go to the back? There's nothing in the back. There's fucking nothing in the back. I've never worked at like a Target or anything or a Best Buy. I just know there's nothing in the back. I just know it.
One time I straight up had a Target employee tell me no when I said, could you check in the back? He said no, and I said, okay. And that was just the end of the, like, what the fuck else am I supposed to say to that?
Yeah. Oh no. TST Hog UA said, my stepmom came home geeked from Best Buy one Black Friday with an HDMI cable. I got this for $3. Sticker price was $80. At the cable company, I would go to people's house, rich people. We're talking about people with fucking huge McMansions that have huge theater rooms with, like, you know, 3 rows of seats in them, and they're showing, and you would come in. I'd come in the house and they'd turn on the TV. It's digital, so it's not snowy. The pictures are perfect. They're not glitching or anything like that. Perfect. Guy's like, don't you think that looks kind of bad? And I'm like, no, I think that looks like that's as good as it could ever possibly look. And he was like, well, I bought these $120 monster cables, and it looks exactly like the free cables that you put on the back of the TV when you installed it. And I was like, yeah, I know. He was so mad. I didn't know how to tell him. I just was like, take those fucking things back. There is a digital picture is a digital picture. It's not going to be any different. There is nothing perceptible to the human eye that a fucking $80 HDMI cable can do for you. It's just that shit. That's the evil that Best Buy has put in the world. That's one of the most evil things in the world.
I've never just bought an HDMI cable. It either just comes with what I need, or I take one from something else that I don't use anymore. I don't think I've ever fucking bought an HDMI cable.
You can look up monster cables. I'll look them up right now, and I'll let you know, because they sell HDMI cables for so much.
I'm Googling it right now.
I got it. Monster HDMI. Okay, they got them for $28 now. Damn, they were the company. There must be a new company doing the $90 Google, or they might have just, the hustle's gone. You know what I mean? You can't.
Well, they got some like decent deals on some like speaker cable. It's not too bad.
Even $40. Even a $40 cable isn't worth it. There isn't an amount that, like, the $8.99 one works as good as the $40 one, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm gonna look right now and see what the most expensive. $430 for an Audio Quest Cinnamon 48 Ultra HDMI cable.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at Monster Platinum Ultra HDMI cable, black, 16-foot, standard HDMI, and it is $155.47 for a fucking cable. It's so funny, and it happens every time. People just fall for it because it's a guy fucking telling you. There's a guy fucking telling you that they're necessary in order to get the highest fidelity picture. And it always bums me. It bummed me out every time. It was like, please just take it, you know. But yeah. Bear, it was good to hear from you. I hope everything's going good. I got a couple more calls I got to get to. And please call back. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah. I should be calling in more regularly now that I'm not constantly wanting to die from chilies.
Yeah. All right, man. It's good to, or Bear, it's good to talk to you. I missed you last week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Got a monster cable talk here. That's something. Hey, you're talking to Brian. What's up?
Hi, Brian. It's Grayson from Orange County, California, also known as Fixer Punk in the chat. I'm doing pretty well, pretty tired still, but it feels good to be on the show. So thank you for taking my call.
Yeah. What's going on, Grayson? How you doing?
Doing pretty well. I was listening to last week's episode, and I know you've been talking quite a bit about Mancow and that last call from the last call-in show about like call-in radio shows in general. And you mentioned that you were going to look into something called the Logos Radio Network, or that's how you pronounced it. I believe, I'm not trying to be terribly nitpicky here, but there's a little bit of a storyline. I think it's pronounced Logos because it's probably a Christian radio network, and there was a building here in Orange County called the Logos Building that was controlled by Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa, and they renamed it to the K-Wave Building for their radio station. And the term Logos is supposed to be Greek. It's Greek for logic, but it's also in Christian theory referring to the Bible. Or the Word of God. So just one weird nitpicky note there, but on the same line of radio and call-in shows, I'm not sure if you've looked too much into the saga between Mancow and the syndicator that he was with between roughly 2011 and 2014, Talk Radio Network and Roy and Mark Masters. Are you familiar with what happened there with the demise of TRN?
No, I don't think I am. I'm not 100% sure. I know that he did jump to something new, and I don't remember when it was. He's jumped a lot. I don't think his ratings were very good. So, but yeah, what happened?
Yeah. To give a little bit of background, so TRN, or Talk Radio Network, is this conservative radio network that was back in 2008. They were number 2 in the country or something like that. And their programming was a lot of when I was a young kid, a 12-year-old, constantly listening to radio, calling into radio, conservative talk radio. They programmed pretty much the entire day schedule on this local station here in Southern California called KLAA, which is the LA Angels baseball team's radio station that for some reason was a conservative talk station before it became an all sports format station. And I would listen to their programming a lot. They had Michael Savage, Rusty Humphreys, Jerry Doyle, Laura Ingram, Andrea Tantaros, a few somewhat, I guess, mid-tier conservative talk radio hosts. But they started to shift more into entertainment programming, and it was the son of the guy who started it who was going into that, and apparently somehow that company just went completely up in flames after some disputes with their advertising rep firm, and it came to light that the people who were running it were kind of crazy. The people who owned it, Roy and Mark Masters. Roy Masters used to have this advice talk radio show late at night, and he would specifically be on stations, AM radio stations that would carry across the country or for multiple state regions at night because of the way that AM radio waves bounce off. So I would be able to listen to him from here in Southern California off of a radio station in Las Vegas. Called K-Dawn.
I do remember.
Yeah.
It's some weird thing where at a certain time you can hear it, right? Like I
Yeah.
remember people
Yeah,
talking
at
about
night.
how they could hear AM radio, like something happened at night that made it so you could hear it uh, across the country.
Correct. The sky. Yeah, it's called the skywave effect, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and that so I would listen to that show, and I don't know why I would listen to it. The guy was just weird. This Roy Masters. Apparently, he had some sort of religious cult called the Foundation of Human Understanding, and he would do this like advice radio show where people would call in about their like personal dilemmas, and he would try to advise them and try to be, I guess, a minister of sorts, even though there was like controversy between him and the IRS about him calling himself a church. And he had he had like this whole thing around how like liberal political views came from being under sort of hypnosis. And then he had these tapes, like I guess they're kind of this meditation tape, I guess you can call it, called Be Still and Know. And he would promote that through the show. And apparently this show was being bundled with this other talk radio network programming that was popular, programming like Mancow, Phil Hendry, those conservative talk radio hosts that I mentioned. And he'd be allowed to spout off, and people more and more over the years started to describe him as a train wreck. I think he kept broadcasting all the way up until the time he died in 2021. He was giving a lot of like, it was just a kind of a crazy advice call-in show that he had, and I didn't even realize there was like a whole cult background to it. But there's this article in the Daily Beast that explains sort of the weirdness of TRN. And it's very, very intriguing. It's called The Godfather of Right-Wing Radio, and it explains kind of how they were transitioning between this partisan stuff to less partisan content. Really, really weird people, but it was a lot of the formative years from like the age 11 to like 15 or 16. Their radio content was a lot of what I would consume and what formed my political views. And obviously, looking back now, it's kind of crazy that I let stuff like that influence me. But
it's funny because I think that, like, I mean, at your age and even at the time where I had started catching some of this stuff, it was, I don't know, like Rush Limbaugh or Michael Savage or any of these people, right? Nobody has really talked much about like people don't tell you that it's not news and that it's just an entertainment show. So you feel like, oh, this is news, but it's a little more entertaining. So you don't tend to think critically about it. If that makes sense to you, you know, it's you don't think critically about it because you think you're being handed unfettered truth, I guess. So I think that's how conservative radio worked for years. People just didn't know it was show business. It was entertainment. And like that's why Air America came out and ultimately failed, because I don't think that like people understood that, or I think that liberals kind of wanted news and not entertainment, and kind of understood that Air America was entertainment. So it became this thing where, like, you know, the conservative people just had been indoctrinated in this style of radio, and the liberals, you know, hadn't been. So they caught it at like a kind of older age. I think conservative talk radio is like, it's just a case of like, it, if it catches you at a certain time in your life, it's always going to get you every single time. You know, especially if you're young and male. I mean, listen, when you look at what conservatives talk about, what their sort of what their politics and stuff is, it is really attractive to a young, straight, white male, because the other side is telling you like tougher truths, you know, and we all want to sit down. We all want to feel good, and we all want to feel like we're included. And I think that like that's what it meant for me a lot of time. For that short period of time where I was listening to Limbaugh and Glenn Beck, it was I don't know, those guys were saying stuff and I was just like, yeah, you know. And I never considered anybody else's opinion. I only considered the sort of straight cis het white male opinion. So I never, you know, understood why. I guess that's why they got me. And it's like there's got to be a way that like you can get to those people. I mean, in the early days of Street Fight, I was like really delusional, and I was like, you know, maybe we'll get to some of those people and stop them from getting into right wing stuff. I don't know.
That's
if that
my
ever
goal.
worked. Yeah, I don't know if that ever worked for us, or if
Yeah.
I mean, I think that like for me, I just don't know if we ever pulled it off. And I think I would love to, but it's about, I think it's I do think it's a good goal to try to intercept people from heading in that direction, because I think it's possible, but it's really hard to, you know, for me, it became very hard to thread the needle of like, okay, so I have to talk about these things. I don't want to talk about this shit anymore. And I don't know. I could never thread the needle. I just wanted to do a funny show after a period of time.
Yeah, I think it happens a lot more naturally than you might think, because the more intentional you get about this, and my background is in political and advocacy communications. I actually, for those who aren't familiar, I was on the board of Tea Party Youth, and I was working in some conservative minority outreach organizations, but there was not really an attempt by any conservative talk radio to really pander to people necessarily. And those things would still reach people. And there was a little bit more of an attempt to reach people specifically through different approaches for minority and youth populations. But with the rise of Trumpism, the funding to those more specialized areas kind of went away, and it became sort of the generalized narrative. So I do believe it occurs rather organically, but it has to come from people who have had that experience. I can tell you that as I was exiting conservatism, Street Fight Radio was very helpful to me. I found it maybe a year or two after that kind of all broke for me, and it certainly was helpful because it gave as close of a replacement as I could possibly find anywhere to the feeling that I got from conservative talk radio. But the message has to be very, very authentic, very vulnerable, and pretty intense. And I talked quite a bit on my podcast about some of these strategies to reach specifically that young male population that you talked about. Now, I'm half Latino, and I'm raised by my Latino side of the family because my dad's out of the picture, my mom's side. But I still got caught up into this conservative talk radio stuff, and that's a whole different discussion. But I do believe that there is hope for it, but it's not going to be anything that's quantitatively measurable. And that's the difficult part, because you can see the success of a show like Street Fight, but you can't really see who it's reaching, even with the best opinion research possible. And if you were to try to angle things based on polling numbers, you may wind up ruining the authenticity of what you're actually doing. So creating that authentic community is something that I think sort of happens organically, and it has to kind of come through spontaneous order, certainly not out of the mind of a political campaign strategist around a specific election with a target date and the way the left does things. But the one thing I noticed on the right is that the right is constantly funding media and communication and all kinds of infrastructure, because there's always somebody who's conservative, who has money, who's willing to throw money at even the most crazy thing. That's why you have the crazy advertisers on Alex Jones, those products that are somewhat unusual that get these host pitches. There's always somebody to throw money at it. Whereas on the left, either you're getting advertising dollars from mainstream consumer packaged goods advertisers, because that's who will buy for what is perceived to be a lower income left-wing audience, or you're getting campaign specific funding through a nonprofit, which has its own restrictions, or a campaign entity, which is by nature a time limited entity. So it's harder to have those organic laboratories, because the people who are funding me at Tea Party Youth, they're by no means big donors, but they had enough money that they could pay some people some money to do stuff. And I don't see that kind of infrastructure, those kind of meshes and networks of random person who's making in the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, who's willing to throw, say, even $8,000 at a local election or at some kind of content project or whatever. I don't see that as much, and it's very much just organically fueled by projects like what you're doing with Street Fight. And that's what I've been trying to kind of figure out through my podcast, through the Fixer Punk podcast. And I'll pitch that at the end. But I think that there is still hope.
Well, it worked out for us because we just, I guess it was lucky. We're very lucky. I mean, that's another thing. It's like when you don't have those crazy, when you don't have the Koch brothers or anything like that behind you, there's a certain amount of luck that just people got to find you. And it's like this constant grinding to figure out how to get to people. But yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. I'm very hesitant to take credit for anything ever. And I don't also think that I don't think radio is the way to the future anymore. Like over the air radio. Mochi in the chat asked, wasn't Street Fight on the radio? Yeah, it was on the radio, but it was on a community radio station. And I mean, it was a low power FM. People weren't hearing it. And, I mean, we found that out when we started doing the call-in show. We just weren't getting calls we were getting calls from people from Twitter and watching in the room and stuff like that. So it's just
the radio signal though is good for really a couple things. Number one, for legitimacy. Number two, for press passes. So that's kind of the utilitarian part of it. I do think that in certain cases that the broadcast medium can be very, very helpful, especially if you have a high enough of a signal, if maybe you have more of an entertainment skew with an existing audience, and or if you're trying to get around like the online algorithms and you have enough that you have people listening to it within your signal area, then it can certainly be viable. But a lot of the growth is being driven by social media platforms, which unfortunately have their restrictions. Like I try to grow through my TikTok, but there are like all these words I have to dance around it. On the radio, you just have like the words that the FCC doesn't want you to say, and just generally not being bad enough that you're not serving the public interest, whatever ambiguous standard the current administration wants to hold to that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, Grayson, I want to thank you for calling. Tell people where to find you.
Yep. Yeah, so website is fixerpunk.com, FIXERPUNK.com. That has the subscription for the Fixer Punk podcast, where I talk about issues of personal and social change and really focusing on building communities around this sort of infrastructure that the right has that's almost like a totalizing institution, but trying to do it for the left. Still in its infancy, but I also get pretty personal on there. And especially on the TikTok at FixerPunk. And that is going to be probably the most up-to-date place. And Twitter is at Grayson Nation, GreysonNation. Some politics there, but mostly wrestling posts. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling, buddy. It's good to hear from you. I kind of was like a dude that I don't know. I think it's very hard for people to understand the difference between news and entertainment. And also, again, it's like, so, I'm a guy that watches wrestling. So I do know what is show business. I know that sports are show business. I can figure that out now, but I was not savvy to that even in my 20s. So I don't know how you can expect people to know the difference between what is a show and what is news. I mean, there isn't any news. None of it's fucking news. All right, I'm going to take this last call. Hey, you're talking to Brian. What's up?
Hey, it's Bacon in St. Louis. How's it going, man?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just got done doing a Thanksgiving holiday at my local retail gig. Fun time, doing the job of two people when you're one person.
I know you can't say where, but did you have to work on Thanksgiving?
No, I'm not. No, I'm a union grocery store, so I got paid to sit on my ass, but the days leading up to it make up for it.
When you said retail, oh yeah. I mean, I worked at Kroger for like 8 months, and in that 8 months, the holidays happened, the Thanksgiving and Christmas, and fuck, man, those were really hard days. The day before Thanksgiving was, they'd be like, we're closing at 8 or something like that on the day before Thanksgiving, and we closed at 6 on Christmas Eve. But it was really like, it was like some of the worst days of any of the working I've ever done, was because people get out of hand on times like this.
Yeah, I had someone throw some eggs at me this past week, but that's not the bad part of this week. So normally we have like food provided for us. It's like pizza, I'm expecting pizza party. This year we got to have sandwiches that are made with slave labor from our local community jail, because that's who they hired to friggin' do all the pre-made meals now. It's a company that uses fucking slave labor.
And you're a union shop.
Yeah. So I'm not that pleased about it, even though the deli is a separate union. We're all.
Oh fuck.
We've brought it up. It's something's in the works about that. I don't want to give them the jump, but something's in the works.
Fuck.
So I might be coming back here in a few weeks still.
Yeah, I'm curious about that, because it like prison labor is scab labor, basically, and they're not getting paid. Or they're not getting paid real money. It's slave labor, and it's also almost like kind of a, they shouldn't be. They pay them nothing. It costs nothing, and then they're making your sandwiches. Were they crummy sandwiches too? Because, I mean,
I got like food poisoning from the frickin' chicken salad one.
Ew. Yeah, well, you know what? I hate to say this, but chicken salad, I mean, don't eat. Listen, I'm not trying to be a dick here. Don't eat fucking stuff with mayonnaise. If it's a pre-packed bag lunch, mayonnaise and chicken, you were really pushing your luck. I gotta tell you. But I know people have heard me talk about this on here. I don't eat pre-made sandwiches, so I might be being a snob, actually.
I typically don't eat them either, but it's free. I mostly like eating the snacks. Like they had like Utz chips and stuff for us, and name brand soda, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of them doing. I've never heard of them doing like catering and shit. I know that like prison made like, I know that there's like prison made like cheese and stuff like that, but I really had no idea. I have like I'm looking it up, and what comes up in prison sandwich is how to make that cool ramen noodle sandwich that.
Well, it's
like
not
rips.
that they're made in the prison, guys, in the chat. It's they transport the labor there. You know, they go on like a work detail.
Mm.
The reason I happen to know is I went to the place where, you know, the stuff's made, and I got to see them there wearing their like snazzy Missouri Department of Corrections shirts.
Jesus, that's a real bummer. It sucks that, you know, the union wouldn't look into something like that. You know.
Now it could be that the people at the central prepared area is they might not be union. It could just be the store labor's union, and the other parts aren't.
Yeah. Because I know they make. I know that they make food. Whole Foods has some prison food, right? Like some of the stuff they sell at Whole Foods is prison labor. I don't know which stuff, because they do a really good job at sort of hiding it from you. You know, so it's hard to even fucking know. This prison sandwich search that I just did is incredible. They have just recipes from people in prison on how to make food.
Yeah, I know.
Which is, those sandwiches sound good.
I made
the
grilled
ramen
cheese
noodle
on a
sandwiches.
radiator.
Oh, you were there?
No, it's a line from The Sopranos. Like, this guy Phil is just talking shit. He's like, I have to compromise. I made grilled cheese on a radiator.
No. I mean, but have you ever seen those? There's YouTube videos of people. Well, the guy pretends to be in prison at this point, but he makes these sandwiches that they make in. He makes these sandwiches that they make in the prison, and like, so it's like ramen noodles with like hot sauce, and it's just a bunch of shit, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of calories, so that it's for lifting. It looks extremely fucked up, but people love it. I've read the reviews for that stuff, so. So yeah,
then,
I hope they get
I grew up
everything.
poor, so.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna talk about you know, the cheap meals you make. You ever make hot dog sandwiches? Like, not a hot dog sandwich.
No, but I used to. I'll tell you something. Oh, are you talking like hot dog, but instead of a bun, you use white bread?
Yeah, but you slice the hot dogs in half lengthways and like get like two of them in there and lay them down, and then make like a sandwich of it with cheese and a tomato on it.
You know what the sickest broke people stuff is in the world that I just lived on for several years is Carl Buddig meats. You know, the meats like in a pouch.
Oh yeah, the little packet of them. They're like $2 for $1 or something.
Yeah, very cheap. And
well,
I
just 10 for 10.
Yeah, I fucking ate those for years for like a lot of my dinners, because I was like, it's meat, you know, and but it's so I could never even picture myself eating it now. My sandwich that I would make was I would just buy the turkey and I would put lettuce and tomato, because those are cheap to buy, and then white bread and then chips, potato chips on it. I mean, world's driest sandwich of all time. But I mean, I did it, and it was pretty. That shit was very brutal. So it's oh, Grayson said my mom told me stories of being sent on a school field trips as a kid with cold hot dogs as her sack lunch. I used to eat cold hot dogs like a motherfucker. I was always eating a cold hot dog back in the day.
Yep.
It was like bologna, you know.
So
that's a cold hot dog. But will you keep me posted on this, please?
I will.
Well, thank you for calling.
It was good talking to you, Brian.
Always good. Bye-bye. All right. Yeah. I'm looking at the chat here. Garbage bag stew. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did corn dogs quite a bit. Like, I was a corn dogs guy. Because those are cheap too. It's just the hot dog sandwich. I mean, I was so on hot dogs, but I put one hot dog and then put bread around it, and I would eat like 4 hot dogs. I would buy Castleberries Coney sauce. I don't know if anybody knows Castleberries. It's the cheapest shit in the world. And you hook that up and put it on a hot dog. It's the best tasting shit you could ever have. It's the best chili. But it's mystery meat. So, you know, take from that what you will. It's good to see you all today. This week on Street Fight, the other show, it is me and Adam Hudson from Citations Needed. The gut shot this week will be with Patrick Monahan from What a Time to Be Alive, and Twitter. And so that's gonna be your shows this week. I think I'm guesting on Radio Free Tote Bag, and I hope you all have a really good week. And I'm gonna bring you a funny show later on this week. Bye bye.